Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord, whom you seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom you delight in. Behold, he shall come, says the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness.
Candlelight and incense, watch until the sun sets. Crown up on my princess, fringes on her sundress. Flyer than some insects, flowing like a swing set. In-depth breakdowns, off the rip index. My recepts is precepts, I'm lost in her scriptures. The art and painted pictures of her fruit are so delicious. Only when she departs from out my heart is she malicious. I obtain her, my chamber fills with precious pleasant riches. Some don't understand, some things they cannot digest. She is great and no debate and circulate and digress. She crieth out, but neither of her eyes wept. Christians out they frog ass mind, it's time to dissect. Her love is truth, and the truth is from above. The truth surrounded in discipline, cause discipline is love. Being tested through the furnace, and patience I'm required. Allowing wisdom through the trials to purify me through the fire. I gotta be refined, that's why I gotta be tried like gold is tried. I gotta be refined, the flames is what it takes. In order to be purified, I gotta be refined. Hebrew is my dialect, before we lost connection to the bloodline of all fathers and immaculate deception. Conception from the virgin, I am earth with misconception. I strive for my election, all her ways are my direction. To know her is to love her, to hold her is to hug her. I desire her above all and put no one above her. I care about her feelings, I'm concerned of what she thinks of me. I pay attention and jot down every lyric she sings to me. And love is pain, but pain is a correction. Yahweh brings to pain to guide us in his direction. He chasteneth us because he loves us. Deuteronomy 7:6. He puts no one above us. Her love is truth, and the truth is from above. The truth surrounded in discipline, cause discipline is love. Being tested through the furnace, and patience I'm required. Allowing wisdom through the trials to purify me through the fire. I gotta be refined, that's why I gotta be tried like gold is tried. I gotta be refined, the flames is what it takes. In order to be purified, I gotta be refined.
Shalom, shalom. Shalom, family.
All praises, I know. Yeah, Lord willing, it's a great lesson, a powerful lesson for y'all. Share with others, comment, like, share, subscribe. Just make sure y'all can hear us and everything's good on here. Yeah. We're good? Okay, all praises. All right. Shalom to everybody coming in. That song was from our brother Agar Gusano, man. It's called Refined. I'm not sure if it's up, but I had to download that as soon as I heard that. All right. So first and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to the Most High God Yahweh. Right. We do so by Shem Yahushai. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father and the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Right. Yahushai. And we're your brothers here at the Refiners, man. Blessed to be in the school still. Lord willing, this keeps going. Right. And the topic of today is we play chess, not checkers. Right. So this is, a saying you hear in the streets and life in general, right? And a lot of the principles, a lot of the things that we were taught before, of course, you can apply wisdom to everything, right? You can flip something that's, I don't know, it originally didn't have no biblical sense, but you can make everything in the biblical sense because the Bible is the book of the how do we say it, the living word, right? So everything resorts back to the initial plan that God tried to set for us, right? So we can apply the principles of the Bible to everything in life, right? So when I put on here in Google, what does chess, not checkers mean? Right. So when this is an AI overview, it says when people say we play chess, not checkers, they mean that they are focused on long-term strategy and thinking several steps ahead. It highlights the contrast between checkers, a straightforward reactive game of jumping what is literally directly right in front of you, and chess, which requires patience, foresight, and anticipating your opponent's moves, right? So this idiom draws its fundamental difference between two board games to describe how people approach business, relationships, or life itself, right? So playing checkers represents a short-term thinking and immediate gratification. It describes making quick decisions based only on what is happening right in front of you, without considering how that choice might affect the bigger picture or what comes next. Essentially, it's momentary happiness, right? So let's start with that first verse, Genesis 25. Shalom, King.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 29. And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint.
Right, so this is the scene where Esau is coming in from the field, right? And he meets with Jacob. This is where Esau's name gets turned from Esau to Edom, which just means red, right? So the word for faint can be used as thirsty or weary, essentially meaning weak, right? So just read it one more time.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 29. And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint.
Right. Okay, the next verse.
Verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
Right, because he came in, he said, Edom means red, red. So Esau was hungry in the flesh, right? In his flesh, because he's tired, he's thirsty, he's hungry. He made a rash decision, right? A decision made in the moment, without thinking ahead, without counting the cost of that one move. Every move you make should be your best move. A good chess player foresees the opponent's next move, but a great chess player thinks 3 or 4 moves ahead. Right, go ahead. Verse 31.
Verse 31. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold.
Hold on, Salakia.
Yeah.
And shalom to everybody coming in. Shalom, family. Good seeing new names in here. And shalom to everybody who's coming back. All right, so verse 31 says, what again? My bad.
Verse 31. It says, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright.
right? So a birthright was everything back then, right? It's your inheritance. The oldest always gets the right to the inheritance. And here we see him basically despise it, right? And sell it for some fleshly wants, literally some food, right? I don't care whatever my ancestors thought was special, it's worth one of these bowls of lentils. That's crazy, right? But in the flesh, in that moment, this is what I need right now. Boom, I'm gonna make this rash decision, this momentary happiness, this momentary gratification, and act on impulse on it, right? Go ahead, verse 32.
Verse 32. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
Right. So when we are in the flesh, we don't think long term, right? I can speak from experience. Before I was in the truth, I used to literally get mad at God, right? Depression was heavy for me. It was always on me, feeling as if I always, for some reason, got the short end of the stick of everything. I was always feeling lost. Like everything that I would get, of course, it would be the defective one, the thing that didn't work. Of course, everybody else has everything happy-go-lucky, but me, I get the worst of everything, right? I had such a negative outlook on life and blamed God for my sadness, for all of my decisions, right? So what was that? So what was the result of that for me, right? So I started thinking on how is everything that I do gonna please me right now then? Right? You want that immediate happiness.
Gratification.
Yeah, gratification, right? So you want to put a bandage on a cut, not realizing it's a gash, right? You wanted something because it looked like it made you happy. The whole time you're numbing the pain, right? You're numbing the cut and ignoring you're making stupid decisions, right? In that moment, Esau was like, look, bro, I don't care about this birthright. Just feed me. I want this for right now. And what's that turned into? I remember being on 16th and Mission. If you're from the Bay Area, and you're familiar with San Francisco, that was one of the coldest first places to start teaching at, on 16th and Mission. You can teach on 16th and Mission, you can teach anywhere, right? But it was crazy to me seeing how truly destroyed our people are on 16th and Mission, right? I remember one of the first times I went out there, you're trying to be like, you're on fire. Everybody asks you, oh, do you have something for some food or something to drink? And I was like, yeah, bro, here, take my water. Here's a couple bucks. I don't have much. Here's $3. I seen the dude literally put the water bottle down right in front of me, take the $3 and go buy some dope with it right next to me, right? And I'm all that to say that the people who are doing the selling, that's immediate gratification, immediate happiness for them. Cool, I have some money, not realizing how much pain you're causing the community. You're literally killing and watching your brother die, right? And I would say this out loud to people right there. I'm like, bro, these people are literally coming to you with missing teeth, don't got no damn clothes on, no nothing, and you're still helping further their death. Right. So let me see. So you need to treat these cuts properly, right? And that's going for our people that are selling and using that, right? So they're trying to, like I told this one brother, one of the first lessons I have, or that was a part to be able to see on 16th and Mission. I think the live is still up on there. Where some dude came up and he's like, look, bro, I'm here to make money. I'm like, yeah, but you're making money destroying other people's family to feed your family. That doesn't make no sense. How do you going to justify that? And of course, people who live that lifestyle, for the most part, some of them as well, oh, I'm spiritual, I know about God, right? But instead of, and I told dude, I was like, look, bro, you're out here selling dope all day. I can make what you make in a day out here doing this just by simply picking up a shovel and working and sweating and earning that money instead of killing my people. I'd rather do this all day, right? But you need to think and not be so hasty and rash when you make choices, because of course it's easy to destroy somebody else or rob somebody to do something like that, right? But in that moment, Esau said, bro, what does this birthright even matter to me, right? I'm about to die right now. That's what he felt. I'm about to die right now, right? He was off hunting and came back home. He didn't get shot with an arrow. He didn't get in a fight. He was just tired. In that weak moment of his, he said, what's the most precious thing to him? His birthright. Here, take this, right? I don't know why he didn't just sell or trade one of the things that he just, hunted or something, take my bow and arrow. But he said, no, my birthright. Right. So verse 33.
Well, and Jacob kind of proposed it to him, like, hey, sell me your birthright.
And he didn't, in that moment, in that weak moment,
he was like, yeah, all right, whatever. 33, right?
Yeah.
Verse 33. And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware to him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
That's such a cool thing, right? Jacob meaning supplanter, right? So Jacob took advantage of his weakness and supplanted him, right? He saw the big move and took it.
Right.
He said, "Bet you need something from me. I'm gonna make a play off of this." Right? This is Jake all day. He didn't leave his knight. He what is it? Salakia. He didn't leave his knight or leave his bishop. He left his king open. There you go. That's what I was going for. So he didn't just leave one play open, or like, if you know chess, of course, right? You have the knight, the bishop, little things, of course, that make a big difference in the game. If you lose them, okay, it's going to be harder for you, but you lose your king, it's game over.
Yeah, game over.
Right? So Jacob is playing chess on here. If I say no and don't give him any of my food, sure, I eat more, I fulfill my literal flesh. But if I say yes, bro, it's a birthright. That's long term, right? That's chess. Of course, I'm not saying if anybody ever needs something from you, you need to have something in return, right? We understand that Jacob was promised the birthright before they were even born, right? We understood that's what was going to happen. That's what the Lord said, right? So that's just scripture. I'm talking about the strategy aspect of it, right? The thinking, the preparation for the future that Jacob planned for, right? So verse 34.
Verse 34 in Genesis 25. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
Right. In this manner, Esau didn't care about his birthright. Esau thought momentarily. He didn't think. He just acted. He pleased his flesh. He pleased the brute beast in him. Right. Let's just see this. Right. Let's see. I won in the chat if y'all are following me right now. Right. Brother Ilowan said he got a precept. Shout out to the powerful brother. 1 Corinthians 10:13 in the GNT, it says there isn't any temptation that you have experienced which is unusual for humans. God, who faithfully keeps his promise, will not allow you to be tempted beyond your power. So it's things, right, of course, that the Most High is going to put in front of you that that you're able to overcome. It should just be that simple, right? I don't think it would. I mean, of course, you never know how things play out, but you just being hungry doesn't end up with me selling my birthright to somebody.
All right.
Right. This fleshly, nothing is ever that deep. Right. There's a saying that my dad always tells me, now I got to flip it back on him when he starts acting like this. He'll tell me, look, bro, you're drowning in a cup of water right now. Like, relax. And it's true. Right. I can overreact. I can definitely overreact and be in my feelings of stuff. But that same aspect you can play with everything. Nothing is ever that deep to where you can't just relax and float. Right. Shabbat shalom to all the brothers out here keeping that Sabbath. Okay, all praises.
Brothers and sisters.
Yeah, brothers and sisters. Right, so there is zero rank, zero distinguishing in checker pieces for the most part, right? Unless, of course, you double stack it eventually when you make it to the end and it becomes a king, right? But for the most part, every piece is the same. Sure, you could say there's strategy to the game, right? It's simple. You get in front of me, though, I either jump forward or I don't move and move another piece. But you can't go back in checkers, right? As if any opportunity that's ever placed, every choice that's ever placed in front of you, as if it has to be acted on or taken. That's not how life works, right? Life isn't that simple. You have more options than just forward, right? One unthought out decision can mean the difference between you and sin, between you and being homeless, between you and divorce, between you and death.
Yep.
Right. So let's get Sirach 28 and 17.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 28 and verse 17. The stroke of the whip maketh marks in thy flesh.
So when of course you whoop somebody, you're going to get that bruise. You're going to get that. You just got whooped. Right. But go ahead.
But the stroke of the tongue breaketh bones.
Why? Because you're fixing your lips to hurt somebody deep. Right. Which can you get the verse where it talks about the word is sharper than any sword, man?
Hebrews.
All right. So you're fixing your lips to hurt somebody deeply. You want to say something so bad and heavy for them that it's going to crush their spirit. Right. You want them to marinate in the pain so much that they either don't say nothing back or cry, or worse, some people crash out over you talking to them crazy. Right. So let me just read it one more time. The stroke of the whip marks in the flesh, but the strokes of the tongue breaks bones. No one's literally hitting you with their tongue hella hard that they break your arm, right? This is This is something deeper than that.
Right.
Right. Go ahead.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 4 and verse 12. It says, "For the word of God is quick and powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of the soul and spirit,
Right.
and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart."
Right. So just how there's the right side, there's also the left side. The left side can do the same exact thing in a destruction way. This is going to give you life, right? The word is going to give you life. It could divide everything. Okay, I'm not supposed to do this. The word said this. It hurts me. All right, I'm gonna check myself. But in the same way, you could also bring somebody down with those same words, right? There's life and death in your tongue, right? So Sirach 28 and 18.
Yeah, and if I can too,
Yeah.
right? There's with the hurtful words, something that like our people have a problem doing is intentionally doing that to each other. You know what I'm saying? Intentionally knowing that, okay, if I say this to her or if I say this to him, it's going to get under his skin. And sometimes it's like we pry at each other just because we know it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With those words.
And instead of trying to, like, for example, you could be in an argument with somebody, right? And for the most part, of course, this can apply for everybody, right? You and your brother, you and your sister. But I'm saying like you and your significant other at this point. Sometimes you can be in a conversation with somebody and, all right, they're making points and it's hurting your feelings. And it's like, okay, we're talking about this and it might be uncomfortable, but we got to talk about this. But somebody could be in their feelings so much that they're like, all right, I'm done doing this. Boom, here's this, the axe to the head at this point. Let's finish this conversation. I don't even want to talk no more. I'm gonna say this and this is gonna finish everything else. You're not gonna have nothing to say to me. I'm gonna just walk away after this. You got to really think about the things that you're saying to people, right? You got to start thinking chess long term instead of checkers, that short, immediate, okay, haha, I made them feel bad. That's not gonna get nowhere, right? You want to think chess. You want at the end of the day, what we're all searching for, the end goal should be the kingdom. So it should be moves to get you to the kingdom, instead of just winning this small little battle right here that maybe might even take the kingdom from you, right? Let me see, someone had a precept on here. Akshamar, guard, man, right? So Hebrews 12 and 14 commands believers to make every effort to live in peace with everyone, to be holy, as without holiness, no one will see the Lord, right? So everything that you do, right? Let me leave that up there. Everything that you do, of course, has to be a reflection of the end goal, right? The kingdom. Everything has to be a reflection of the God that you say that you're serving. So everything that comes out of your lips, everything that comes out of your mouth, especially in situations that can push you to the fleshly side of you, need to be checked even more, right? It's not the situations that are easy. It's the situations that, okay, yeah, you know what? It's really testing me at this point, right? That you need to be on your toes on, right? So let me see where I was at. Right, like how I said, either you can say something. Of course, the words that you say can't be taken back, and that's the problem with it, because that's going to marinate in other people's heads, right? Like, for example, you can be faded, right? My dad told me this one time, right? He would tell me, okay, cool, you have a gun on you, that's cool. Just be sure that whenever you pull out that gun, it's going to be in a moment where you need to use it. Right. Because if you ever pull that gun out and you don't use it, you might forget about that a week from now, a month from now. But that person who you did it to is never going to forget what you did to him. Right. And the same way, those words that you say, cool, you might laugh it off or whatever. Your friends thought it was funny, but that person who you joked about isn't going to forget those words that you said, especially if it cut down to the bone like how it did. Right. Go ahead.
Let me get this in the GNT. This is a book of Sirach 28 and 18 in the GNT. It says, more people have died as a result of loose talk than ever were killed by swords.
Yep. So more. Read just one more time.
You want me to read it?
No, that's fine. That was fine. That was beautiful.
This is a book of Sirach chapter 28 and verse 18 in the GNT. It says, more people have died as a result of loose talk than were ever killed by swords.
Yeah, that is cold. Like how Nasayak said, right? He's a precept right here. Shout out to the brother Nasayak, man. Shout out to the bloodline zealots, man. Proverbs 15:18, it says, a wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife, right? So everything everything that you do, right, could be, it comes from your mouth, it comes from your lips, the things that you do, right? So you can turn up on someone easily, but at the same time, if you know how to check yourself, you can make that situation calm down,
Right.
right? So you can take this verse right here, literal or figurative, right? Many people have gotten into fights, died over words that they chose to use in the heat of the moment, right? For example, in the street, you're for sure going to be just a crash out in general. You're supposed to. That's what you signed up for, right? Let me finish this, land this real quick, Manya. But sometimes it's not the crash outs in the opposing side. Sometimes it's also the people on your side, right? Some people don't think and just talk, right? Your life can be put on the line, and your death is reliant on literally a crash out's mood that day, right? On how gangster he's feeling that day when someone tries to walk by him. If whoever he checks ain't feeling that and has it on him, it's game over, right? Because he couldn't check his flesh in that moment and think long term, right? You can literally, I've been in situations where I'm around people who I know are crash outs, right? And something happens to where I'm like, oh, bro, here he goes. But me, I'm there, right? And my life is literally depending on how this man's mood is that day, on how far he's willing to take that, right? But go ahead, Manya. What do you have?
Just piggybacking on what you're talking about as far as like you never know like what type of mood somebody's on and what they're willing to do or go out of their way, and it also attached to that Hebrews 4:12, like how sharp the word of the Lord is.
Mhm.
Like you can say something and piggybacking off of the scripture.
Land back.
Huh?
Land back. We don't deal with pigs up there.
I got you. So just to go and circle back on, using too many words and how it could destroy somebody. And also, playing chess and not checkers. I got Proverbs 21 and verse 5 in the GNT. It says, "Plan carefully, and you will have plenty. If you act too quickly, you will never have enough." So breaking that down, if we plan anything that we do going forward, right, and not talk so much to where you never know how somebody's feeling, you can basically save your life. You know what I'm saying? In one sense, and in another, you could save yourself a stressful situation too
Right.
by thinking ahead.
Yeah. And it's also measuring out everything as well. Like, for example, like us, when we go out, and for you brothers out there that go out and teach, and of course for you sisters out here that have dialogues with others as well, right, and talk amongst yourselves, you can read a room pretty quick, right? When someone comes up with what type of energy they're on, you could either use the language that you're using to either calm the situation down so you can actually have a beneficial conversation, or you can turn up and there's nothing productive going to come from that, right? Death for sure is going to come from that, instead of bringing life with how you're talking to somebody, right? This is how to rewind. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the spirit, which is the word of God. And that's how we have to move, man, right? This is how we have to move and operate, especially, that's what I'm saying, because you never know who's watching. All right, let's get Sirach 25 through 7.
It's the book of Sirach.
There you go.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 25 and chapter 20 and verse 5 in the KJV. There is one that keepeth silence and is found wise.
Right. So when someone's just sitting there and doesn't say nothing, people be like, oh, you know what? He's probably a smart dude, right? He's probably not going to say nothing, or he's probably not saying nothing because he's measuring out the room. You know what I mean? Checking everybody's tone, everybody's body language. Okay, cool. Go ahead.
It reads, and another by much babbling cometh hateful.
Becometh hateful, right? So someone, like, you could be in the sense of you get annoying to people, but it could also be you're talking too much and now you're spilling the beans with everything, right? Now nobody wants to even talk to you because you talk too much, and you might say whatever got said to you in that moment from them, right? So verse 6.
Verse 6, it says, some man holdeth his tongue because he hath not to answer, and some keepeth silence knowing his time.
Right. It's you being able to have dominance over your tongue, right? You understanding that the things that you say might might land at a good time, but you know what? This is probably not the time for me to say anything. I'll probably hold it till later, right? Like I was says, keep silence, knowing it's proper time, because you can say something that's powerful, that's meaningful at the wrong time, and it's just gonna go over buddy's head, right? Compared to where you pull them to the side, hey, bro, this is how I you said this, and this is how I felt, or whatever the case is, right? Sometimes even after camp, I can have a conversation with somebody, and if the person sticks around, I'll try to emphasize further on something that maybe he didn't catch before, right? Or try to be like, what did you mean when you said this earlier? You know, I mean, little things like that can be more productive than you just talking and thinking and hoping something sticks, right? Verse 7.
Verse 7, a wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity, but a babbler and a fool will regard no time.
And this is something as well when us, right, when we're bringing it out, when we're out there on the streets talking, you have to be able to, like how I said, measure the room. You go out there, and if you're just talking, you're just regurgitating all the information. He asks you, okay, what are you guys talking about? Okay, Deuteronomy 28 and whoopty whoop, and just go straight to the verses that you're just familiar with, instead of having a conversation. You're literally out there having a conversation with people. But if you're just babbling on, regurgitating all this information, nothing's gonna land for him. Why? Because he's not even sure what's even going on at this point, right? Just question after question, or verse after verse after verse. Like I tell brothers, make sure that you ask questions, have them want to talk to you. It's not just you out there talking, right? That way you can figure out the things that he said and how you can tie the Bible back into it and make that conversation that much more productive, instead of just, yeah, see, we got put on slave ships and we're Israelites at this point, or we're the Israelites. Okay, cool. What else? How is that going to help me in my life right now? Meet them where they're at with stuff, right? So let me, yeah, do this because it's true, right? Let me see, right? Shalom, Gazah, right? So I'm gonna give you an example, right? Like I was saying, your life can be on somebody else's decisions or tongue, right? So we had a situation at one point. This is a couple years ago, right? When we were on 16th and Mission, right? And of course, nothing good happens when you're on 16th and Mission at like 1 a.m, right? So we was out there and we were drinking, and we were basically just kicking back, right? And this is in the moment where, you know, brothers are very God hates Edomites. God hates Edomites. Everybody's your enemy, right? And we're chilling, and a brother walks by, right? A Jake walks by, and he has 2 Edomites with him, right? This is, of course, like I'm saying, like 1 a.m. And one of the brothers being faded goes, hey, what did he say? He said, must be nice or something like that, walking around on 16th and Mission. And the dude turns around, he's like, what? And he has a gun on his back, takes the gun out and is holding it like this. The girls that he's with hug the dude, and he's like, no, let's go. And he's like, no, what did you say? And the brother, right, lost or doesn't even pay attention to this, isn't watching his words. And I'm looking at bro like, all right, it's about to go up right now, right? And this is one of those, the dude, luckily, even my girl pulls him away and they walk away. He's like, all right, have a good night. We're like, all right, bro, have a good night, you know, take care, whatever. But being in such a zeal where everything has to be met head first and with horns, and you're just like, boom, I'm gonna tackle everything head on, instead of having discernment and understanding that your tongue in that moment could have landed like 4 of us, you know, in the grave because of your decisions, because of your tongue, right? Because you not knowing how to play chess instead of checkers in that moment. Okay, cool, you're gonna take this little pawn, but what's that gonna do for us? You're gonna take the bishop, the rook, the knight, everything, right? So why do I bring this up? Because checkers is just that reaction, right? Immediate response, feel good at the drop of a dime, right? But it doesn't account for the after, right? Life is your body, your fleshly wants. It's fake reality, right? It's a drug. It's like you're injecting yourself with imaginary happiness. It's going to go away in the next couple minutes or hours. Then you're stuck with that body still in whatever state you left it in before that, right? That's why it could be, we're big advocates on, for example, okay, cool, you drink. That's fine, you can drink. But why are you drinking? Are you drinking just to have fun, or are you drinking because you're trying to cover something up at this point? So instead to have a good time when you're drinking, so you're not feeling like you got to drink your way into, drink your sorrow away, figure out what is going on, the reason why you're drinking, right? So that you can better so it can be better use of you, right? So you got to think ahead, right? You can count on the Lord and trust that the end game on properly moving pieces, on thinking, okay, if I start doing this move instead of this move, or if I throw away these mingled fabrics, stop eating this pork, start using fringes and tzitzits, start keeping high holy days, moving these chess pieces can set you up for success in the long run, right? You can set up the win without losing as many pieces, right? But this is the thing, without losing as many pieces, you're still going to take losses, right? Let's get Matthew 16 and 24. You see Salakia, tribe of Issachar, brother shares, well, slavery is our own fault because we chose not to follow, keep, and obey all of God's commandments. Yeah, I mean, of course. Yet some aren't reading for self to understand that fact yet, right? Because it's always easier to just point the finger at somebody else, right? Instead of just realizing that we are the reason why we're here. All right. So let's see. Matthew 16 and 24.
So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 16 and verse 24. And when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money.
Matthew 16.
Oh, so like that's 17. My bad. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16 and verse 24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself first. Let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me.
Stop putting your wants before what the Lord wants from you or expects from you or desires from you, right? Stop putting what you think needs to be the end goal and focus on what the Lord says the end goal is, the kingdom, right? Go ahead.
Verse 25. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. Verse 26. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
Right. What are you going to give for your morality? And maybe even at that sense, your morality, right? You're going to sell out for what people sell out all the time, bro. Right. There's things like, for example, the music industry, right? I remember when I was making music, and of course there's a reason I stopped, right? But definitely wasn't the best out here, right? And with that said, shout out to my brother Gazal, man. Check out the brothers music, right? New reader, Gazal, right? But there's things that of course that the world can offer you that seem good in that moment, right? Instead of you focusing on and understanding what the Lord has for you, right? So the music industry would want you to talk about adultery, would want you to talk about drugs and how much fun you're having with these women or whatnot, right? I don't know, killing your own brother and sister, right? They want you to do these things. That's your morality. That's you selling out your soul, right? But in the same sense, if you're willing to do that, why aren't you willing to lose things that aren't even beneficial for you for the ultimate end goal, right? For the kingdom, right? If you're going to lose pawns, you're going to lose pawns in chess, right? That more than likely is going to happen, right? You're going to lose some of those less important pieces, right?
Right.
Because like it or not, losses come with this walk, right? But a loss for a win is worth it at the end of the day. But sometimes you just can't see it because you think with your own wants and needs, not thinking about the bigger picture, right? Like how I said, what the Lord wants. And the funny part about that is you don't know what it is until the very end, right? When it's all said and done in that moment, right before you never open your eyelids ever again, right? Until that moment, you're in the game, right? Not knowing when the end is. You're also in that case. And for that reason, you always make your next move your best move.
All right.
Right. So unless you had a precept or anything?
Nope.
Okay, con. So for example, right, first example on here, Samson and Delilah, right? So the checkers move. Samson repeatedly gave into his infatuation with Delilah, revealing the secrets of his spiritual strength to her, even after she tried to betray him multiple times, right? Proverbs 22 and 3.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished.
Right. So a prudent man, right, a wise man, a man with understanding, understands a setup. You should be able to understand a setup. Right. I'm gonna give you an example. When you're playing chess, or me at least, when I'm playing chess and I see an easy target, maybe it's a setup and I gotta watch. Okay, if I move this here, what's he gonna hit me with after? That's how you have to play chess.
Yeah.
But in checkers, okay, cool. I skip them. Cool. That's it. Now what do?
You got to foresee the evil.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You got to be prudent in this.
Yeah.
Right. So he sees the play working against him and evades it. Right. You have to evade it. You can always move the chess back, the piece right back to where it was before that. Right. But the simple, the ones who can't see or don't care, fall into that snare. Right. That's just strategy. All right. So if I move this pawn here, the only thing that he has to hit me with in that spot right there is the bishop. Okay, cool. I'm gonna move this here, and when he hits that with the bishop, I got the knight right here. It's gonna take out the bishop. Now I can move forward with that. You got to understand setups, and these things biblically are called tests, right? These are called tests. The Lord is gonna put something you always wanted right in front of your face, but at the cost of what? Right? It's something you gotta have to take a loss somewhere. Right? You want to help wake up your people. You want to do it. It's going to take your time. Right? I need your Saturdays from you. And in our sense, we do Fridays and Saturdays. We need time. Right? You need to dedicate your whole life to this. Basically, your whole life has to revolve around you trying to show people how a man in the truth should be walking and doing things. Right? So what does it mean? And what does it look like? Right? All of these examples are things that you can apply in your everyday life. Right? So for example, before I came into the truth, right, I was working at a pizza joint, right? And I was handling pork every single day, right? So once I came into the truth, I was like, okay, cool. I just got to put gloves on then. I'm not touching the pork, sure, but the gloves are touching the pork, right? These are the excuses we make, right? I will be fine, right? I kept telling myself that for weeks, right? Until the Israelite family came in, right? Of course, they don't know they're Israel. And at the time I was working in Menlo Park, in the rich side of Menlo Park. So you don't really see our people out there, right? All these other nations, right? So this Israelite family comes in and ordered, and I just so happened to take their order, and they ordered a pizza with, like, you know, pepperoni, bacon, sausage, all this stuff, right? And while I was ringing them up, bro, I felt so bad. I wanted to be like, bro, stop eating this. You're not supposed to be eating this. You know, God says don't do this, but I can't do that, bro. I'm at work. I'm going to lose my job over this, right? So instead, I'm just not going to take orders no more. But I'm still going to be in the back making the food for them.
Yeah, prepping the sin up.
I'm saying, right? So even if I'm not making prepping the sin up yet, for real, literally, right? I'm still making food for people that contain pork, right? It wasn't until the Most High literally kicked me out of that job for something that had nothing to do with me. And once I got out of there, I felt relief, right? It wasn't sadness of getting fired. It's okay, cool. I got out of there. Now my next job, because I'm a prudent man at this point in my walk, I understand it can't revolve around food whatsoever, right? Everything is saturated with pork now, right? Me foreseeing the evil. Okay, cool. Leave the food industry, same thing, right? And I stayed away from that. And instead now I'd rather just do manual labor. That's how am I going to hurt somebody with that, right? So Matthew 22 and 23 in the NLT, if you have that.
Yeah, Con. This is the book of Matthew chapter 7 and verse 22.
So let me go through these. So my minority 144, right? A time to rend, a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak. It's not always talking time. You got to understand when it's time to be quiet and listen, because that's when you can make the best moves, man. Shalom, got to be steps ahead, of course. Khan King. Shalom to Brother Darkness and Brother Kashak. Tribe of Issachar says, all we can do, play the game, because it's the Most High God, Yahweh, who makes all the rules. Therefore, everyone has his part to play, of course, right? And it's understanding what part you are, man. Sometimes you brothers have little steps they can take, right? Sometimes you're just a pawn and you have to take these little steps. Ultimately, you can be something great at the end, right? That's fine. You can play that part. And sometimes brothers have a bigger role to do, and because they have a bigger role to do, they don't want to do it, right? Responsibility. You know what I mean? So play your part, man, because everybody's essential in this walk. If that's the Most High's will, shalom. I understand that completely. Peeping the sin, con, darkness. Chess is like war because you got to use deception, manipulation, and misdirection against your opponent. Right. And if you're prudent, man, you understand that sometimes that's how the Lord works against, or not against, to build you up. Right. Let me set this snare right here, and if he falls for it, he's out of here. But in that same sense, if you don't fall for it, you can be that much of a greater use for him, because now you have wisdom. Now you have, okay, this is what he was trying to show me. And our people in that sense can't see that, right? Can't see the things that the Lord wants to show them, because they're so caught up on their own wants and their own end goal. The Matthew one? My bad.
Yeah, no, you good, bro.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 22. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name and cast out many devils? Salakia, and in thy name cast out many devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
And there's
Salakia, you wanted in the NLT.
No, that's fine. There's another translation that it's neither one of these, where it says, you workers of lawlessness. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's not so much that you're just never going to sin again, right? If you keep God's laws, it's so much that you don't live in that lifestyle, right? You don't live in that lifestyle of trying to just always be in sin. You check yourself, right? You play chess. You understand, okay, if I keep doing this, eventually someone's going to get me, right? And that someone, of course, is the king of terrors.
Catch up. That's going to catch up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're going to put yourself in a predicament where you're going to get taken, right? So
it's a scripture that talks about, right, in thy security, that's when the evil will come upon you.
Watch, that one's in Sirach, but there's another one, watch, too, if you want to get that one. In Sirach. Let me see, where's this one? Boom. So let me get this one. This is Amos 5. It's like, yeah, it's one of those. Amos 5 and 18, it says, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord, right? Lord, Christ come back, right? Cause destruction, right? To what end is it for you, right? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light, right? As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him. Okay, you evaded a lion, now a bear's there, right? Cold part is I'd rather get eaten by a lion than a bear, right? A lion's at least gonna kill you before he starts eating you, right? A bear ain't gonna do all that, right? Or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. Right, you just can't evade the Lord, right? Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it, right? So that's like one of those things where you're playing a game with somebody who sees everything, and not just sees what you're doing, knows your thoughts on everything that you're doing, right? So I saw,
That's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. Is it? I don't really like it, but this is the book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 7 in the GNT. Come back to the Lord quickly. Don't think that you can keep putting it off. His anger can come upon you suddenly, and you will die under his punishment.
Right, there's nothing you can do to hide your sins from the Lord, right? Whose eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, right? So I saw the evil or the punishment that can come from me feeding my people pork, right? Something that I know is a sin, or touching something that I know is a sin and trying to be in that gray area. Well, I have gloves on, right? Or I could just wash my hands really good, right? If I have gloves on, it doesn't count, right? But if I'm not eating it, it doesn't count. But I'm feeding it to somebody else who I know is an Israelite. And Lord willing, the Most High has grace and mercy on me for all those months, right, that I spent doing that while I was in the truth. But if he doesn't have mercy or grace on me, I can't complain, bro. I can't complain because I deserve the punishment for that, right? But the chess move was to find another job that doesn't involve pork, right? The checkers move would have been stay in that same spot because it's a job, right? Or just move to another foods industry spot, right? But sometimes it's even deeper than that, right? What I've seen many times, especially in this truth, right, is people rushing into relationships because they don't want to be alone, or because in that moment it felt right and there was zero courting period, straight into the bed, thinking that somehow something godly is going to come from something that's rushed and there's no strategy in it, right? It's all flesh, right? Of course, the Most High can bless anything, right, and make a great relationship from something like that, sure, right? But it would behoove you and be way more convenient for you to actually plan your future with whoever it is that you plan on sleeping with, right? Luke 14:28 through 30.
So this is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse 28. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? Verse 29. Lest happily, after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it began to mock him,
What they say?
saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish.
Right. In the same sense, you could apply this to a lot of things, right? Especially us in this walk, right? You can be like, okay, cool. The guy knows he's an Israelite. He's out here posting about the truth. Everything that he's doing on Facebook is truth videos, verses. Cool. You're checking everybody. You commenting on everybody's feed. Oh, this is sin. This is whatever it is, right? But then 2 months later, you out there doing the same exact thing. Those people are going to be like, bro, what? Weren't you the same one who thought you were over here a priest or a pastor or something like that? What happened with you? Now, instead of the truth being meaningful to everybody, now they're going to think it's a joke because you thought it was a joke, because you didn't take it serious, right? You didn't count the cost, whether you had sufficient to finish it, right? Am I in this for the long run? If I'm not, then what am I doing, bro? You're playing yourself, right? Saying this man began to build but was not able to finish it. You got something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and it's the cold part, right? Because we I'm sure a lot of us have heard that, come into this truth. Especially for me, like, I was shared, okay, this is just another phase, right? This is just another thing that he's going through and things like that. But when you really have this understanding, it's like, man, I don't want to do nothing else. You know what I'm saying? And then so it's like, if you were to go back, the cold part is the Most High just spewed you out because you weren't doing enough. You know what I'm saying? So you were just used for that little short time. But at the end of the day, you were made to look like a fool because you didn't take it serious.
Yeah, man, that's the cool part about it, right? So, like, for example, right, one of the first things me and my wife did before we came together was talk about the future, right? What do you want? What are you looking for, right? Can you fulfill the things that I want, and can I fulfill the things that you want, right? What's the future, at least like with your job? All right, where do you work at, right? What is your plan on? Are you gonna plan on moving up, or what's the end core of end goal of your career, right? So we sat down, we saw all of our expenses. She knew how much I was making, how much I was spending every month, what my debts were going into, what debt I even had, right? Because this is how you strategize and plan ahead, and this is how you make power moves. I want to see everything that she has to pay, whatever her debt is. That way, okay, cool. Let's knock out this first, and then we can focus on doing this instead. Or what house do we move in? Do I move into your spot? Do you move into? This is how you plan things. You strategize instead of just acting on it, right?
Impulse,
exactly. Right, the fleshly wants. You just lay together and then let's figure it out after. I mean, maybe it could work.
Yeah.
Right? Why not? But it would behoove you to plan, bro. It would behoove you to plan, sister.
Yes.
Right. So instead, when you're blinded by love, you make decisions and make mistakes like Samson did. Right? You can see the red flags, and instead of understanding the red flags, and you got to stay away and avoid them, you decide to play golf with them. Right? You're trying to feel that immediate satisfaction. Right? There's a saying that, like, for example, that says, everything that shines isn't always gold, right? Or the grass is greener on the other side. But I heard a better saying than that: the grass is greener where you water it, right?
Damn,
what do you have?
cool. Oh, I was at the next person.
Okay, Con, get that?
Yeah. There's a book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 13. Every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire.
By fire,
And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is.
Right, so everything that shines is in gold. Sometimes it's aluminum foil disguised as something shiny, bro. Right? And because you didn't try it, because you didn't put it to the test, now you're stuck with aluminum foil, right? Or you went somewhere else because you thought it was going to be better, right? You thought it was going to be greener on over there because of how it looks, only to arrive there and see that grass is still dry and brittle because there's no water in it.
No, the cold part, like, because, you know, both of us, we work in landscaping, so we deal with grass and, you know, green grass. Some people, they just want to see green, right? But you go to their grass and it's all weeds. And it's like they don't even care that their grass is full of weeds as long as it's green. But it's like, well, you don't want you're aiming to get the quality of grass, like the nice quality of grass, but they just want to see green. They don't even care what it is.
Yeah. No, that's hella true, bro. This one lady, so two different places right next to each other. These people don't water their lawns whatsoever, right? So it's disgusting. But then when it does rain, sure, it looks like grass, right? Like you're saying, it looks like
green.
it's grass.
Yeah.
And I remember telling him, like, bro, what you have, it isn't grass.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, well, what is it? Okay, look at it. Now you pull it, right? It's weeds.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, can you take some of them out? And I'm looking at the yard like, I mean, I can if you want me to, right? And so we started doing that. And instead, now what you have is just chunks of dirt here, chunks of dirt there, everywhere, right? Or they'll have like a jasmine bush and it's ivy in between it. And they're like, can you take out the ivy? I'm like, yeah, I could take out the ivy. It'll take me a minute, but when I'm done with it, you're not gonna have no bushes because most of your bushes is just that.
Yeah.
Right. So everything looks cool, right? It looks good, but when you actually get up close and look at this, you'll understand, bro, this is worse than what it was before.
Right.
Right. There was a very wise man, right? And hopefully the brother's doing good now, man. That once told me sometimes sometimes a dog wanting 2 bones ends up with none. Right. So you think that it looks cool with having, well, figuratively, we were speaking about women in this sense. Sure, a man would want 2 women or 3 women or 4, whatever it is. But then you, in the pursuit of trying to do that, you're going to end up by yourself. Right, because you thought it was greener on that side. You didn't understand the things that came with it, right? You didn't count the cost of seeing, is the woman that I'm with even ready for such a move, right? Or if you're ready for such a move, right, to take on such a responsibility, and now you messed up everybody's lives.
Right.
So let's see. So right, let me see. So it's because of how it looks, only to arrive that grass is still dry and brittle because there's no water in it. Right. And through scripture, we understand that water is what we understand, like, for example, the word. Right. So is the fire. Right. It's the word of the Most High. It's how you compare to that thing to what we read in the scriptures. Right. And I've also seen these people try to avoid fixing something, to avoid the chess strategy, instead of sitting there and looking for a way out of the danger in the game to set themselves up for a better attack or a better defense in the game. Right. When you're playing chess, they'd rather just start the game all over again, only to maybe wind up in a game that's worse than the one that you were in, right? Because you didn't think about what moves you can make with what you have. Instead, you're like, no, I want what they have. I want to do over there, right? And then just one more time, Proverbs 22:3.
So there's the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 3. A prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished.
Exactly. So you can see these games. Okay, see, you can see these moves that you're able to make, and instead of trying to fix it, now instead you want to just toss it all. What's the saying? Throw the baby out with the bathwater, man. Yeah, the precept.
Yeah, I mean, this is just in the GNT, right? So 22 and verse 3 in Proverbs, it says, sensible people will see trouble coming and avoid it, but an unthinking person will walk right into it and regret it later.
Right, like I say, common sense ain't too common, man. Right, and this is the thing, you got to be. Life moves fast, of course, but it's never moving fast enough to the point where you can't sit back and understand the moves that you're about to make. Right, you always have time to breathe. You always have time to think about stuff. Right, so you can be a wise man in every aspect of life, but the Lord knows that one weakness that you have, and if you don't check it yourself or see the things that He's trying to show you, right, being in the spirit, it can be your own demise. Like, for example, how I said we have Samson, right? This topic, right? Chess, not checkers. Of course, Samson is a strong man. He's known for his strength, right? He killed thousands of people with a jawbone of a donkey, right? Only to fall to a woman, right? Only to fall to his flesh, right? It wasn't anything spiritual, right? It was his flesh, right? He was a knight piece, a strong piece in the game that can do so much, only to make a checkers move and fall to the to the old trap.
Right.
Women, right?
Right.
Fall to women, right? So the long-term cost, right? He chose the temporary romantic validation and physical desire over his divine calling, leading up to his capture, his blinding, and ultimately losing his life, right? Chasing tail to his own destruction, right? Playing checkers and not chess, right? Being it, there was a very wise man, right, who said, if you can control your rod, you can rule the world. Rule the world.
Right.
Very true, right? First Ezra 4
and 26.
Yeah.
Damn, I was gonna get that precept right now. That's crazy. First Ezra 4 and 26. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women, and become servants for their sake.
What's the next one?
Verse 27. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women.
Right. The oldest trick in the book, right? The oldest trick in the book. And you got to be, like I said, man, you got to be wise to understand the chess moves that you need to be making, right? Not every woman needs to be chased after, right? I had made a post the other day that was something about like don't lose your queen and your rook over a pawn, right? Don't make all these rash decisions over something that just looks good, that's something that you can, okay, yeah, that's a good piece to have, sure, but at what cost? You're gonna lose your queen and you're gonna lose the rook or the castle. For you who probably don't play chess like that, right? You're gonna lose these foundations of your squad, right? The rook is, you got two of them, it's gonna handle everything, right? Compared to your queen, that's probably the most powerful piece on your team, right? And you're gonna lose that over something that doesn't matter, right? And like I said, this can go for women as well, right? But look at the things that I'm saying and see how you can apply them to things, because you can make a lesson off this topic, right? Things that apply to you in your life. You have something else?
I was just gonna read it in the GNT and start at verse 25 for a little context. This is First Ezra 4 and verse 25 in the GNT. It says, a man loves his wife more than his parents. Some men are driven out of their minds on account of a woman, and others become slaves for the sake of a woman. Others have been put to death, have ruined their lives, or committed crimes because of a woman.
See, in that same sense, like I'm saying, you could apply to women, right? You could don't want to be lonely, and now you make every single decision that you shouldn't make, you make it, and now you're stuck with I don't know, going from one man to another man to another man, or you're stuck in a relationship that you no longer want, or I don't know, falling out the truth because the things that these men are out here trying to teach you, now you have to be subordinate to somebody who isn't a good leader now. Do you have something, Manya? Am I tripping? Okay. So another example, right? Sarah and Hagar, right? So the checkers move, right? Growing impatient, waiting for God's promise of a child, right? Sarah took matters into her own hands and gave her slave, right, the Egyptian servant, Hagar, to her husband Abraham to bear a child. Look, I can't give you a child, and I was supposed to have a kid, but I can't do it. Here, go with my man, right? When the Father, right, when the Most High doesn't want something to happen, it just won't happen, right? Growing up, I was molded to think, I don't want kids. I don't want to bring kids into this messed up world, right? And I don't have anything together. I don't have my life together. Why would I bring kids into this, right? But then when I did want to have kids, it just never happened. And of course, this is in another relationship I was with, right? And the one time that she did get pregnant, she lost the baby, right? I was trying to force things to happen, not trusting in the Lord's timing, only to have that same woman, right, commit adultery and leave my life, right? I used to sit back and think like, bro, I'm glad it didn't happen then. Where would I have been at, right? Where would my kid been at? Like, right, I would have been a single father, or maybe she would have dipped out with the kid, because first and foremost, she wasn't a fan of this lifestyle, right, of being an Israelite. Galatians 4 and 22.
This is the book of Galatians chapter 4 and verse 22. For it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid and the other by a free woman. But the one who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh.
That's the checkers move. all right, cool. We need to have a kid here. Go ahead and have a kid instead of trusting in the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
right? Being out of the flesh and being in the spirit instead. But what?
But of the free woman was by promise.
Right. And the cold part, right, about this is after tripping out on that, right? After, right. How can I say this? So after randomly meeting my wife at camp, right, we went on a date and literally never stopped kicking it after that. Now we have 2 beautiful kids in these last 4 years. Nothing was forced, nothing was rushed, and the Lord made it happen.
Oh, praise.
Right? It feels like overnight the Lord literally gifted me with everything that I asked him for those last years. So it wasn't the that it just, why isn't it happening for me? Why isn't it happening for me? It's I didn't trust in the timing of it. Right? So he gave them to me at the perfect time when I needed it the most instead of when I thought that I wanted it. Right? And when we try to force things, when we try to play God, we can get every sign that this move that you're trying to make is a bad idea. Why are you doing this? And you still force it to happen. And the Lord will block the outcome every single time. Right. So you're trying to move that checkers piece forward. And he's like, bro, hold on, bro. Like, chill out. Right. Think about what you're doing. You're rushing into a move that can cost you 1 piece. And that 1 piece can cost you the whole game. Right. I'm sure the brothers and sisters that have played chess. OK, cool. You're having fun. Bam, you just lost your queen. And now you're just like, oh, damn. Well, now I kind of want to quit. And at this point, you're just moving little things here, little things there. Ultimately, you just know you're gonna lose.
Yeah, you give up on the strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you lose, and that's cold too, right? Because it goes back to the point that you just made about the dog desiring to have 2 bones and ending up with none. You try to make a move and get you another wife and get you another bone, and you don't do it properly. You try to do it on your time. Out of your selfish desire, now both of them don't get along and you lose both of them or something like that in that matter,
Yeah.
Could be some similar to that.
Yeah, exactly. Or even trying to just balance the truth with your, I don't know, with your everyday life, bro. Right? You could be trying to go so hard for the truth and now your whole family is missing out on you. Or instead you try to go hard for your family, now you're missing out. There's always a balance to everything, right? It's always how you do it. Like I said, I tell the brothers in our camp, one of the biggest things is balance. You figuring out the balance between everything, right? You got to balance everything. Your wife with your kids with your wife, then them with the work, and then the work with actually studying with actually making lessons. And everything is about balance, right? It's about how you do things. It's about understanding the pieces that you have and what's the best possible game that I can play with the things that are right in front of me, right? Proverbs 29 and 20.
So this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 20. Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than of him.
That's cool. What's the
GNT?
Yeah, what's the GNT say? Man, these allergies is whooping me, bro.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 20 in the GNT. There is more hope for a stupid fool than someone who speaks without thinking.
Yeah. So rushing into anything can be your ruin, right? Action without thinking or going for the immediate option instead of weighing out your choices, right? You can apply these same principles into anything, right? And into everything. You can be in such a want for a car, right? For example, you can be in such a want for a car that you rush straight into it instead of weighing out every single option that you have to make sure that you're either getting the best interest rate that you can, right? Some people will be like, well, I don't know.
Get the Carfax.
Yeah, there you go. Get the Carfax, the background on it, right? And instead, some places could be like, okay, well, I need like 10 bands if you want to take this car. You'd be like, damn, well, that's all I have here. Take the 10 bands. Instead of being like, that's not going to work out for me. And then later to get a phone call to just be like, no, actually, can you just do 3? Or can you just do 1? Actually, just come and sign it, right? So make sure that you go out there and you check everything instead of just taking something because it's offered to you, right? Like how the brother says, get the Carfax, bring your own mechanic, make sure everything runs good, or plan ahead and be like, is this car, the car is nice, but is this going to be a car that I can use a year or 2 from now, right? I don't know, get a coupe, and in a year or 2, I'm not even thinking about kids, and now I got to sell something that I worked hard for instead of just getting something that was going to be beneficial for me long term, right? So James 1 and 19.
Yeah, and just real quick too, that goes into relationships. Yes, don't be too hasty to enter into relationships. You got to get
Carfax.
the Carfax, right? You got to get the body facts of the man or the woman that you are interested in.
Yes, sir.
You know, not being too hasty to just go off of the looks. You know what I'm saying? And then end up with with something that's gonna ruin you.
Yeah.
So you said James 1:19.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. This is James 1 and verse 19. It says, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath."
Right. So everything that we do in life is meaningful, right? It could be from a stare that you do, from a laugh that you do, from a sentence that you say on the street, to a text message, right? To a swing of a sword, right? That's what I'm gonna get to right now. That's what we're gonna get into. But it's such a so everything you do is meaningful, from a stare even to a laugh. I remember like a saying that they say, right? Cool, a joke is a joke, but once someone starts laughing too damn hard, that joke isn't funny no more, right now. So everything that you do can literally lead to something that much far greater, right? It could either be a good thing or a bad thing, but in this sense, we're talking about, you know, mess ups, right? So John 18:10.
This is the book of John, chapter 18 and verse 10. Then Simon Peter, having a sword, Then Simon Peter, having a sword,
It's like what was that coffee spot you went to?
holy coffee.
Yeah, don't go because it don't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
All right.
It didn't work. Holy coffee in Sacramento. Don't go there. This is the book of John, chapter 18 and verse 10. Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it and smote the high priest's servant and cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. Keep reading.
Yeah.
Then said Yahushua unto Peter, "Put thy sword into thy sheath. The cup which my Father hath given me,
What?
shall I not drink it?"
So Peter drawing his sword and using it, right? It's a checkers move. The Roman soldiers arrived to meet with Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, right? Peter impulsively drew his sword and cut the ear off the high priest servants, right? He said, "What, you're trying to take the Messiah? Like, do you know who this is?" The funny part of this whole situation is Christ literally told Peter what was going to happen, right? And how it was going to go down, right? Matthew 16:21.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16 and verse 21. It says, "From that time forth began Yahushua to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and be raised again the third day."
Right, keep going to 23.
Verse 22. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, "Be it far from thee, Lord, shall this not be unto thee?" But he turned and said unto Peter, "Get thee behind me, Satan, for Salakia, thou art an offense unto me, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men."
Right. So Peter is out here playing checkers with the ultimate chess player,
Right.
which is crazy, right? So imagine Peter saving Christ from being crucified, and he didn't die on that day for us, right?
Yeah.
He made that impulsive move to have that immediate satisfaction, and didn't think the long term on how Christ was supposed to be that lamb for us, how he had to die for you, right? In that same manner, some of us get told what the move is, what the outcome is going to be, and we say, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm down with that." But when it happens, you panic and you forget the strategy and you resort to what you know, right? That brutish man in you, checkers, right? The flesh, right? So in that same sense, Christ is like, "Look, bro, I have to go. I have to be offered up to these people. I have to die." And when the situation comes to where he gets offered up and is going to be taken to die, Peter's like, nah, hold on. This isn't what's going to happen right now. Forgetting the ultimate end goal, right? Your salvation, the kingdom, what Christ's whole mission was, right? And go ahead.
I was just going to make a point about the brother Caiaphas was playing chess.
Yeah, I'm going to get there.
Oh, okay. Salakia.
See, look at the Lord.
Okay. Luke.
Salakia, look. Hijos del Pacto, La Resistencia. Shout out to my brother. Shalom family. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Brakatah. Like, whoa, you heard me. Khan, Ahab Ka King. We played your song in the very beginning. This is the brother. If y'all can subscribe to the brother up here, man. He has very powerful lessons, English and Spanish. I played that song Refined in the very beginning, right? Through the Spirit. So let's Yeah, subscribe to that brother right there, man. Go ahead.
Is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 15. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all of your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist.
Mhm.
And ye shall be destroyed both by
No. You shall be
betrayed.
There you go.
Salakia. I don't even know. Salakia. Verse Luke 21 and 16. And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolk and friends.
So you can't be mad or upset and all surprised when your family don't mess with what you're doing. Right? Go ahead.
And some of you shall they cause to be put to death.
Some of you are gonna have to die. Some of us are gonna have to die over this. Right. Go ahead.
And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
So I can't be upset when that time comes where someone's gonna try to lock you up for preaching the word out on the streets, or when someone just walks by and hates everything that you're doing, having no idea what you're teaching. You're gonna be hated for what you're doing, right? So the long-term cost, Peter reacted to an immediate threat of physical arrest, entirely missing the chess reality that Jesus Christ was supposed to get arrested, right? Yahushua was supposed to get arrested, and the crucifixion was the core mission. That's what he came to do. Came to die on that cross for you, right? But he missed that. That's what was needed as the Israelites. It's what we required for a salvation. Thus says the Lord, right? We forgot his whole purpose, what his whole purpose was this time around, right? So everything you do has a ripple effect in life, right? I'm sure you've probably heard like the butterfly effect, but that's exactly how life is. One thing you do today or one thought you have today affects tomorrow. It affects the rest of your life in one way or another, right? Again, so make every move your best possible move that you can make, right? So playing chess on the flip side of checkers represents a calculated, right, multi-layered approach. It means looking at the full board, planning several moves ahead, and making strategic choices to achieve an ultimate objective or end game, right? 1 Peter 2 and 11.
So this is the first, and I just wanted to make a point too, because I had literally just had a conversation with a brother, the text messages I was sharing.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally told him, I said, the funny thing is,
you should probably get the whole, the thing that you had sent us from today.
You want me to start up?
No, just from today. Yeah.
You want me to start up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Where you meet the brother, what's going on with the brother, so he gets some background on my dear beloved brother here.
Okay, so I'm not gonna put the brother on blast, right? But his name, but I love this brother, right? Elderly gentleman, real cool brother. We met up, doing flyers. We sat down and had some coffee, you know what I'm saying? But this morning I had asked him just out of curiosity. I said, good morning, my brother, because we had talked a couple days ago, but I said this morning, good morning, my brother. Hey, quick question. Do you celebrate the 4th of July? Like go out and watch fireworks? And he was like, yes, sir, with an exclamation point, like happy. So I just curiously asked him, I said, why is that? He says, celebrating living in the best country in the world with about 7 exclamation points. I said, I'm not trying to, and this brother, he's probably about, mid 50s, right? He's been through some things, seen some things, you know what I'm saying? But he's in the Christian faith, if you will. And Christianity. I said, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence by asking you these questions, but do you know what the 4th of July is a commemoration of? He said, Independence Day 1776 was the day we gained our independence from Britain. We fought in a war 12 years later to solidify that independence. You don't celebrate the 4th of July? ? I said, when you say we gained our independence, and you come from slaves whose independence are you celebrating? Because we for surely were not independent as black and brown people in 1776. Disregarding anything I said, he says, do you appreciate the country you live in? I'm just like baffled by him, and him and sharing this. And I'm saying, do you understand I'm native, indigenous to this land?
Oh, and so like Mom says, what's up? I hope you're having a great day.
Shalom, Mom. Love you. Right. Thank you for tuning in. Banyaz over here as well. He shares the same. Let me see. He says, you was born in this country? ? I said, yes, I was born in this land, the same land that was stolen from my people. America was built off of the bloodshed tears of our people, yet we do not have autonomy anywhere. Sure, we have plots of land and reservations, but to my understanding, you're missing the bigger picture. And he says, you didn't answer my question. Do you appreciate the country you live in? I said, you didn't answer my question. Do you understand that I'm native? He said, that's fine. If you are native, answer the question. So I said, laughing my ass off, no, I don't appreciate living in a land that was stolen from my ancestors, a land that was established on bloodshed and the genocide of my people. I absolutely do not love, quote unquote, America as it is today, but I appreciate you sharing that information with me and asking me the questions. When they gained and celebrated their freedom and independence from Britain, our people were property. I shared with him, I said, you're a smart brother. Respectfully, as a black man in America, I would have thought you would have pondered on this stuff already, but the Most High is great and wakes different people up at different times. And the brother asked me a question. He says, do you think that you would fare better in another country? Do you think your life would be better if you lived in another country? I said, what I would ask is maybe just ponder on the things I shared with you. And I gave him a heart and a candle. Right. And I said, again, you're missing my point. Don't default. And I said, don't default to questions like this when he's asking me if I think life would be better in another country. The brother shared with me, I've been hearing that sob story for a long time, brother. Respectfully, you are missing the point. The past is the past. You are never going to find a society without flaws and sin. America is only 250 years old. Sin, oppression, war, slavery was not invented by America. It has been around since mankind first sinned in the garden. You have freedoms in this country that you take for granted because you are privileged to live in a free country. You try to go to an Islamic country and set your tent up, and set up your tent and preach your religion and see what happens. You go to another country and live the way you live with the comforts you have and see what happens. I live a very blessed life because I live in this country with all of its history. I just simply said, okay. This country is far from free.
I thought that's all you said. I'm like, bro.
Oh, at first, that's all I said. At first, all I said was okay. And then I was like, okay, I can't just end on that. So I said, this country is far from free. There are brothers all around the world who do what I do. I do my part where I reside. The persecution is everywhere, even here in America. The funny thing is, I realize is the persecution comes from our own people. Just how Christ was hated by his own people, we are too, which is sad to see, but there is nothing new under the sun, so it's already to be expected.
Exactly, bro.
And then I ended with you. I said, you are. Then I corrected myself and said, we are still enslaved today, but you celebrate your oppressor's freedom because he gave you crumbs.
Yep.
That's that trying to love two masters. On one end, you're a so-called Christian, and then on another one, you're saying you appreciate America, but you can't see the bad, what America has done and how they're just trying to throw that blanket or that rug with the crumbs underneath it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're trying to play both chess and checkers at the same time. In both games, there's different rules.
I wouldn't say that is serving two masters, but what I would say is that the latter part of, right, like you have a house, and this is what I can communicate to the brother in person because we are going to meet up next week, but it's just like you have a house, right, and they're playing chess because they're aiming to destroy your mind so you're comfortable with the crumbs. Mm-hmm. You're not worried about the chess moves because now in your mind, you're just a pawn. You're just being moved around. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, from what I'm trying to express to the brother is, my people were in this country, right? We were native here, like, to this land. This was our house. We had intruders come in our house, take over our entire house, allow us, right, to live in the basement, right? Don't come out of that basement. If you come out of that basement, I need you to check in with me. What is that? That's your passport. If you want to leave the basement, but you got to go back to that basement, right? You got to go back down there, and then we gonna feed you the crumbs. We gonna give you the food that you have, right? And you know what I'm saying? So it's just,
And how dare you say something bad? You're privileged.
yeah, and you're privileged to be in this free land. Come on, bro. But it really be a detriment. What does Hosea 4:6 say, right? My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, right? Because you have rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, right? So when you have a spiritual eye to understand, it's just it's sad to see, like, you know what I'm saying, our people just so destroyed and fighting, right, for their oppressors, having that Stockholm syndrome.
Because it's comfortable, bro.
And it's comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
It's comfortable. Why would I want to go anywhere? I literally know people, bro, that'd rather be in jail because they don't have to work and get food.
Yeah.
I literally know people like that.
Yeah.
So,
and a gift destroyeth the heart.
yeah. Why would I want to go? Why would I want to go work when you can feed me for free? You're gonna pay for my we pay for everything for them.
Yeah, housing, 3 square meals. You know what I'm saying? They got jobs in there.
Listen, yeah, it gets kind of crazy. I'd keep that comment to myself real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah,
1
yeah.
Peter 2:11.
Yeah. Little sidebar, all right? But 1 Peter 2:11, dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts, which war against the soul.
All right, so the key point on that one was abstain from fleshly lust. And again, I'm correlating fleshly lust or the flesh or the immediate gratification of stuff to a checkers move, right? So you have to understand and be able to know when something is just a test for you, right? And it's not just passing the test. It's don't be comfortable with the D-, right? You want the highest possible grade in this test. You should be wanting to be great in the kingdom of heaven, right? Your name, your recognition is everything in scripture, right? We see many great men choose not to stoop low because they understand just winning isn't the end all be all. It's how you win, right? It's how you win that game, right? The checkers move, right? Now we're people playing checkers now, right? Or Salakia, we're still on checkers move. So when King Saul was hunting David, David had multiple clear opportunities to kill Saul and take the throne immediately. But the chess move, though, right? Let me see. Let me delete this real quick. The chess move, David refused to harm the Lord's anointed. David understood that he was up next. That didn't make him want to take Saul out, right? He knew that taking Saul down could set rebellion for his own future kingdom. It could start a war for his future kingdom. By waiting for God to remove Saul himself, right? David secured a legitimate and unified dynasty, not built on blood of another person through jealousy. How Saul wanted to do David, right? He knew he was out. Saul knew he was out of there already, right? He got told literally by the Most High, look, I'm not dealing with you no more, right? And he still tried to cling onto it, right? All he could do at that point was play checkers, right? I want to take David out. I want to take David out. Not understanding that the chess play was already in effect. Who knows how it would have played out if he would have just stepped down and taken that L with the chin up and be like, okay, yeah, I messed up. The Lord doesn't want me here no more, right? Who knows how that would have played out. But instead, he's trying to do checkers, right? Immediate gratification. Okay, I'm not king, but who else is up? Okay, David's up. Oh, yeah, I need to take David out of here, right? So let's just read the account and see how David plays, right? So 2 Samuel 1, 5. We're gonna read all the way to 17.
Con.
So like, yeah, I think sisters had
It's all good.
some precepts. Do you want to get Isaiah 5 and 20?
Yep.
Shalom.
Woe unto
sis.
them that call evil good and good evil. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 5 and verse 20. And it reads, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
Con. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes they'll think every move that they make is a good move, not knowing that ultimately it's your own demise with these moves that you're making, right? Be like, okay, cool, yeah, or let's clap it up for you. You did a move, okay, not understanding that move was probably the worst move you could have done.
Yeah.
Right, and everyone's gonna cheer you on, and unfortunately, even in the truth, we still have yes men and yes women in this walk, right?
In verse 21, it says, woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight.
Right, wise in your own eyes and prudent to yourself, not understanding that everybody sees how much of a fool that these moves that you're doing is. Right, especially it's such a blessing to be to know the truth, but not just know it. How the brothers we were talking about earlier, and shout out to my brother Ilon, Lord willing, he does do these clothing things, right? It's not just about what you know, it's about how you apply these scriptures, right? There was a post I had seen the other day that said, yeah, you can know all these precepts, but the ultimate precept is you showing your life, how a reflection of what you say you walk in. Right? Jeremiah 2:14, the brother Nicholas Jacobs shares, is Israel a servant? Is he a home-born slave? Why is he spoiled? Right? Why are we such in a downtrodden state? Right? We weren't meant to be in this position right here. Right? So what are we doing? We got to see the chess. We got to see the board overall in general. What are we messing up in? How are we losing? Where are we losing at? And fix that, right? Solidify that side of the board so that you don't lose that ugly, right? So it says it's sad to see. Let me see. So where we're at, or 2 Samuel, right?
2 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 5. And David said unto the young man that told him, how knowest thou that Saul and Jonathan his son be dead?
So this dude comes up, right, and he's all like, look, bro, Saul died, right? Coming to David, probably all happy and stuff. Like, yeah, bro, we took him out. Right? Go ahead.
And the young man that told him said, as I happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa, behold, Saul leaned upon his spear, and lo, the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him. And when he looked behind him, he saw me and called unto me and answered, here am I. And he said unto me, who art thou? And I answered him, I am an Amalekite. He said unto me again, stand, I pray thee, upon me and slay me, for anguish is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me.
So he's dying. He's like, look, bro, just finish me off at this point. Right, go ahead.
So I stood upon him and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen. And I took the crown that was upon his head and the bracelet that was upon his arm, or Salaki, that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my Lord.
Right. So at this point, this is after David multiple times is getting chased by Saul, he knows Saul is out to kill him.
Yeah, death threats.
Right. And he's like, and here comes this Amalekite, right? And he's like, look, bro, here's this crown, here's this bracelet, here you go. This is the moment you've been waiting for. And what does David do?
Right. Where's that verse?
11.
11. Okay, verse 11. Then David took hold on his clothes and rent them, and likewise all the men that were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted until even for Saul and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they were fallen by the sword.
Right.
And David said unto the young man that told him, whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, an Amalekite. And David said unto him, how wast thou not afraid to stretch forth thine hand to destroy the Lord's anointed?
Right, bro, who do you think you are to do that?
Right.
And that's the cold part, right? David is literally getting threatened by Saul the whole time, right? And he's like, bro, who are you to even put a hand on this guy? Who are you to put a hand on this guy? You're not even the one funking with him, right? Go ahead.
And David called one of the young men and said, go near and fall upon him. And he smote him that he died. And David said unto him, Thy blood be upon thy head, for thy mouth hath testified against thee, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. And David lamented with this lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan his son.
Right. So David understood, right, that he was a nobody before he became king, right? And if he was to be king, how he took over was going to mean everything, right? He stayed true to the game. He played the game until the king was removed, and he was able to take on and take over the next game, right? That game is done. Now you got another game, right? When the Lord refreshed that playing field for him, right? And I'm sure that there was many on David's side that were like, "Yep, you're up now. You're king to be now. Go take him out." But David didn't let his flesh make the decision for him, right? He waited out for his time and was led in the spirit first and foremost, right? That was the chess move in that time. Say, for example, he would have taken Saul out. I'm sure there would have been plenty of people that were still on Saul's side that were like, bro, who does this guy think he is? Take David out now, right? Instead of playing the role that he was supposed to be and waiting for the Lord to basically remove Saul out of there, right? And he did it by the hand of a heathen, right? David didn't have to do anything, right? He didn't have to get his hands bloody right there, right? Another example right here would be Joseph, right? After being sold into slavery by his brothers, Joseph spent years navigating in the Egyptian world, right, in the Egyptian court, instead of reacting with vengeance, right, to his immediate fleshly satisfaction, right? Because at one point Joseph grew in the ranks and was somebody in the Egyptian kingdom, right? He could have sent men to go handle his brothers, right? Because that's the reason why he was there. His brothers sold him into slavery, right? And instead of Joseph being like, okay, cool, now I'm this high-ranking dude in the Egyptian dynasty, kingdom, whatever you want to call it, instead he utilized long-term strategy, right? He saved grain during those years of famine, right, to eventually save his family. He didn't know that what was going to happen, right? He just didn't act on flesh, is my point, to instantly go and have vengeance on what they did, right? He didn't know that outcome was how could I say it? He didn't know that was going to be the outcome of not acting on flesh, right? He resented his brothers, right? He even named one of his kids Manasseh, meaning I forgot. The Lord made me forget finally all the things that I went through, right? Even knowing his dream beforehand that he was going to be this person that all his brothers were going to serve, right? He didn't check himself on, this is supposed to happen. Instead, he just waited it out, and the Lord revealed the play for him. And thankfully, for all of us, right, he was able to recognize the overall board and see the power move that was needed to be had, right? And there's countless examples in scriptures of people who think chess instead of checkers, right? Whether it be stories like Yael taking out the ruler in meekness, right? She slew a man in his sleep and avoided a full-out war. Judith being able to win a war with beauty instead of fighting. Susanna able to withstand the death that she was facing instead of reacting in the flesh towards the elders that were accusing her, right? She allowed the Lord to be her lawyer, right? And he came through and stood up for her. I think it was Daniel, right? Who shut up for her, and all the accusations that were against her, right? All of these are examples on not allowing your flesh to make a rash decision and instead planning ahead, right? Thirsting for God's plan and not for man's plan. Matthew 26:3.
So the book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 3.
Shalom KOY, man.
Then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people unto the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas, and consulted that they might take Yahushua by subtlety and kill him.
Like craftiness, right? Go ahead.
Luke, I'll keep reading.
Oh, yeah. Get that Luke one.
All right, Luke
Or
chapter.
get all three of those. We're going to get these. So one is, let me see. They consulted that they might take Jesus by craftiness to kill Jesus, okay? What's the next one?
This is the account in Luke chapter 4 and verse 28. And all they in the synagogue, when they heard these things, were filled with wrath, and rose up and thrust him out of the city, and led him into the brow of the hill whereon their city was built, that they might cast him down headlong. But he, passing through the midst of them, went his way.
So that's 2 times. What's the next one?
John chapter 10 and verse 37. If I do the work, Salakia, If I do not the works of my Father, believe me not. But if I do, though ye believe me, not me, believe the works, that ye may know and believe that the Father is in me, and I in him. Therefore they sought again to take him, but he escaped out of their hand.
Right. So all of these are times that they try to kill Jesus, right? That's a checkers move. That's the Jews' fleshly want. Who does this guy healing people, confounding our doctrine at such a young age, with pool in the nation, right? Think he is, right? These fools were hating on the Messiah, right? Not knowing the chess play that was in effect from the very beginning, that he had to be hated, he had to be rejected, he had to be killed, right? These people who were masters at the law let their own flesh blind them to who was even in their presence. And that's when I was going into Caiaphas, right? So yeah, that the Caiaphas one, John 11:46.
Colin, so this is the book of John, chapter 11 and verse 46. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done.
Imagine being so mad at somebody, bro, that you're like, bro, we got to get rid of this. He's over here healing people and doing great things.
That's crazy.
Right? But
That's
our people
crazy.
are haters, bro. Our people are haters. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a crazy UI. John chapter 11 and verse 47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
But what?
And one of them, named Caiaphas, being high priest that same year, said unto them, ye know nothing at all,
You don't even know what you're talking about, bro. Go ahead.
nor consider that it is expedient for us
That what?
that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not.
Right. He understands scripture. Go ahead.
And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation.
And a cool part is, right, for you brothers out there that teach, right, and that are out on the streets debating people, people will go here and say, well, see, he just wanted to kill Jesus so that the rest of them wouldn't die. We read in Revelation that the spirit of prophecy is a testimony of Jesus, right? Right here it says that Caiaphas prophesied, right? Of course, that Christ was supposed to die for that nation, right? For Israel, right? To sit there and say that Caiaphas, the high priest, was against Christ in that manner, he wouldn't have the spirit of prophecy if he didn't believe in this man, right? Just a short side note. Go ahead.
Verse 52 in John 11. And not for that nation only,
But who?
but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad.
Right. So the long-term goal, the ultimate chess move, was accomplished by them rejecting and killing the Messiah to be able to reconcile all of us, right? All of Israel for the Most High, right? For us to even have repentance. The checkers move was the Pharisees and scribes, right? So like the checkers move, the scribes and the Pharisees did fell right into the chess move that the Most High planned from the very beginning, right? You're going to leave that king open. When I move this piece and this piece here, now it's checkmate, right? There are many examples of people playing chess instead of checkers in the Bible, right? It's the people who are submissive. We do not listen or question the Most High's decisions, right? So like we don't, when we listen and don't question the Most High's decisions, right? For example, from the very beginning, we have Abraham who was told, go sacrifice your child. Any regular parent or any regular human being at that matter would be like, what are you talking about? Go sacrifice my son, right? But that was a big charge to put on somebody. And what did Abraham do? He listened. He didn't do the checkers play and was like, well, why would I do that? I'm good, right? He went and he listened to the Most High, right? I think even before that, the Most High told him to leave that land and go somewhere else, right? He got up out that land and left. That was his first action, I believe, of faith that it talks about, right? This isn't a checkers move, right? This is why this isn't, he didn't say, why would I go over there for that reason, right? Or tripping, like who's even talking to me? What's his deity even? No, he just listed and trusted in the Lord, right? He saw that overall God had a bigger play for him and he trusted with that. So now let's just close it out with these last two verses again. right? Genesis 25 and 29,
So this is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 29.
one of the first verses we read.
And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint.
And again, remember I said that word for faint, when you look at it in the Hebrew, it's the same word for thirsty. It's the same word for wanting, right? But the difference is Esau in that moment wasn't wanting something from the Lord. He was wanting something for his own flesh. And that's the moments that we have to check ourselves to understand, what am I doing? Why am I doing this, right? Is it for the Lord, or is it something that I want immediate satisfaction with, right? So Psalms 63.
Psalm 63 and chapter Salakia and verse 1. Oh God, you are my God. This is in the GNT. Oh God, you are my God, and I long for you.
Right. I desire you. Go ahead.
My whole being desires you.
Uh-huh.
Like a dry, worn out, waterless land, my soul is thirsty for you.
So that's how, if you guys are ever going to be in the want of anything, it should be for the Most High's desires, right? The Most High's will. That's the first and foremost, the overall thing that you should be wanting, right? Not wanting after the flesh, but instead thinking long term and thinking, what is the Lord's plan and how can I be a better use for him, right? The only thing you should be thirsting for or fainting for is seeing that you can do the most for the Most High instead of your flesh. Like I said, again, the chess is your spiritual side. Checkers is your flesh, the immediate things. Of course, it's hard to be in the spirit when we're being in this fleshly world, but ultimately we understand that flesh is going to bring death, right? And at the end of the day, what we want is everlasting life, right? Prosperity. And you get that by being in the spirit in all times, right?
Let me read this whole thing.
Go ahead.
So this is Psalm 63 again in the GNT from the top. Oh God, you are my God, and I long for you. My whole being desires you, like a dry, worn out, and waterless land. My soul is thirsty for you. Let me see you in the sanctuary. Let me see how mighty and glorious you are. Your constant love is better than life itself. And so I will praise you. I will give you thanks as long as I live. I will raise my hands to you in prayer. My soul will feast and be satisfied, and I will sing glad songs of praise to you. As I lie in bed, I remember you all night long. I think of you because you have always been my help. In the shadow of your wings, I sing for joy. I cling to you, and your hand keeps me safe. Those who are trying to kill me will go down into the world of the dead, and they will be killed in battle, and their bodies eaten by wolves. Because God gives him victory, the king will rejoice. Those who make promises in God's name will praise him, but the mouths of liars will be shut.
That's a great one, bro. Longing for that's what it was titled for. Psalm 63. It's called longing for the Lord, right? Thirsting for the Lord. That's what our end all be all should be, right? Everything should revolve around him. And as soon as you start thinking your own flesh, you start making these checkers moves. It's going to be your downfall. Just how the first one that we see on there, or at least in this lesson, I'm sure there might be some before that, Esau and Jacob, right? So I hope y'all had learned something or things that you could apply yourself. Like I was sharing with brothers the other day, right? These lessons that we put is ultimately for you. You guys can take the overall theme and apply your own vision, your own eyes to this, and flip this lesson to something that could be more beneficial for you, right? The principle, you can apply it for yourself. You know yourself better than anybody else. Put this lesson as something that can apply and be beneficial for you in your life, in your walk, right? So, I mean, the brothers in. You said what again?
I don't say if they got any questions.
Yeah, brothers have any questions, that'd be cool. Any comments, anything, right? The brothers in the Bay Area will be going live soon after this. After this live, they're gonna start a little bit earlier, so stay in tune for that. They believe they're gonna be in Lake Merritt in Oakland. Yeah,
Probably go live around 3 or something like that.
yeah, around that time.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Or was more, yes, to like in the beginning, like Genesis 25 and 29. Do you think if Jacob knew that he could, make the lentils for his brother because his brother's tired, and he's like, "Sell me your birthright." Do you think Jacob knew, like, like, oh, this is gonna be a good thing, or do you think
So-
Esau thought it was gonna be a good thing? You know, like he was gonna get over on Jacob.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I would say what I would share is that he didn't know what he was doing. He just kind of, most I put it on the spirit
Yeah.
to be like, hey, let me get that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I mean, I wouldn't say he foresaw it. But his mother did foresee it, right? When she had to put the lambskin on, you know, she was given the game. But we don't see an account of him being given the game, you know, of what was of the chess move that he was playing. You know, he might have made a chess move, not even knowing, you know, the blessing that was gonna come with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's such a I mean, I don't know, because in that moment he asked for something great. It wasn't like some little thing. Like I said, he didn't ask for bow and arrow, nothing like that. Give me your birthright. Like, how do you make that big
I mean,
old
that
jump?
that is big though too, you know, because he could have known too. You know?
Esau just turned around and he flipped it. He
Yeah.
flipped it on him, though. You know what I'm saying? Then he went back to his father and was like, "Yo, what happened?"
Yeah. Where's my birthright?
You know what I'm saying?
He's like, weren't you just in here?
Hey, that's why the Lord said, man, every promise you make, man. Even the last one, bro, even that last one, that last verse on the
63.
yeah, and that Psalm 63 one, bro. Let me see. Let me just what it was. Right, it says that last part. It says, "But the mouth of them that speak lies shall be stopped." Right. Say Esau probably was just trying to supplant him. Esau was like, "Well, here, just give me. Yeah, sure, take it." And at the end, it's still my birthright.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, bro.
And then
You
look
thought.
at
You sold that.
look at the situation we in right now. Like he's enjoying, I guess. It's so, of course, enjoying his birthright, but it's like that's why I was looking at it like that. It's like, did Jacob really know what
praises,
he was
man.
getting himself into when he asked for his birthright?
Well, maybe because, you know, that was actually a custom back then, right? You know, inheriting a birthright. You know what I'm saying?
Something big.
That was big for the elder to get.
That's crazy.
I don't know. That's a good question, man. Who knows, bro? I'm just glad he did.
Right.
Now we're here, right? So listen, man. And with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and say shalom to you guys, man.
Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord, whom you seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom you delight in. Behold, he shall come, says the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness.